Guys that's under there in that top 20 that's coming up.
And most of them got a chip on their shoulder and an attitude against you because they've been around before you were.
Yeah.
You just skipped to the front of the line.
To the front. I mean, so I see the port. This is how I've tried to look at it every way that I could. Porter and Spence. And we're going to take some of your comments. I see you guys are commenting on Facebook, so we're going to take some of your comments after a while. We're just getting some things together. But I want to kind of go over this first because we're like revamping this without our scheduled yesterday. But if you look at the direct, Porter has, I think, the ring experience. I'm going to go with that because
He's fought the tougher competition. There's no doubt about
gone
that.
the distance more times as well. Maybe not. I'm not going to give him a. I hate to listen. I know I can take a punch from a lightweight, let alone a welterweight. So I don't want to say the guy has no punch. But you consider that he's not the power puncher guy.
No. Here's the thing with the eye test. Everything. If you look at the eye test, you just watch both fighters fight. Everything tells you that Spence is going to destroy him. If you just look, Spence looks like the more tooled, bigger, stronger fighter. We both know in boxing that don't mean nothing when the bell rings.
Nothing
I
at
mean,
all.
there's a lot of guys that fought Marvin Hagler that you looked at him before the fight and said he's going to destroy
Mustafa
Hagler.
Hampshire was one. I thought with
John
tough fight, John Mugabe.
And when Hagler
Tommy Hearns, I mean,
took his right hand, smiled, and came back. You know what I mean? That what looked like it was going to happen doesn't mean anything. So if Porter can make it an ugly fight,
you can win it.
And he can deal with Spence's power,
yeah,
it's going to be a very interesting night.
And that's the problem. I watched. They had a thing on PBC the other night, right? And they were showing a public workout with what else? Great puncher. I'll give him that. The trainer got good, good with Derek James and his dad and all them behind him. Great backing behind him, right? But I watched a couple of his other fights. I had really paid up much because when you get a fight like this, if we're going to talk about it, you got to know.
You got to dissect it.
You got to dissect it. He makes a lot of mistakes in throwing punches in the ring.
He does.
His feet tends to be behind him when he throws his hard shot. It's not directly on balance.
A lot of that I think has to do with he hasn't have to be on point.
Yeah, well,
all the time. He's fought guys that he can just walk to and through. So and that's the intriguing part about the fight. Porter's going to have to be able to deal with some stuff to be able to capitalize on some of those things. So that's the question.
Okay,
right
but you're Porter, right? I'm sorry, you're Spence. I'm Porter, right? I got to deal with your strength, not your strength, but your strength. Okay, your strength is your power, right? That's your power. Now, how do I make that work against you? If I'm a guy like Porter,
I go to your body and I make you move your feet because we all know that if punchers can't set their feet, they can't punch with authority. So if I'm Porter, I'm looking to fight in real tight. Spence has the long arms. He ain't going to get good leverage and power shots inside. And when I'm not in tight, I'm stepping around him and constantly making Spence reset. On the flip side, if I'm Spence, I just want to be first and meet him with my jab.
Right.
Fight and make him fight
I'll
by
balance.
Exactly. Make him play catch up all night. So the intriguing thing about boxing always is who's going to impose their will on who. So which one is going to be able to force their will and make the guy fight the fight he don't want to fight?
I watched, in particular, and I think, historically, you be at fights, and you get a chance to see, and I'm going to go to a heavyweight fight, because if it ever was a guy, even though people thought there was a fight, Holyfield and Bo, first fight, right?
Great heavyweight fight.
Great heavyweight fight. But if there ever was a time that a fighter made a fighter change because this guy was better than had more in his arsenal than what he thought, Bo actually made Holyfield kind of change his game.
Absolutely.
Right? He made Evander want to become a power puncher, which Evander wasn't.
Because he couldn't outbox him.
He couldn't outbox him. See, now I'm wondering.
And he was fighting his sparring partner.
Isn't that something? Isn't that something? So now, here you are, you're Sean Porter, you're in your Errol Spence. Now, I'm in the ring, it comes across, of course the bell rings, and you start this thing. I'm not wondering, do I have a feeling process? Because you can't afford a fill-out process.
No.
Spence has got to go at him from the beginning.
Which is what he normally does.
Yeah.
The only time he didn't do it was against Garcia.
Well, okay, now, and why?
I think, to me...
You think Garcia's reputation...
I think he psyched him out.
Okay.
I think the same thing happened to Hagler in the Leonard fight. You remember Leonard Hagler, Hagler was a switch hitter.
Yeah.
But his main style was southpaw. He was a left-hander. What did he box the first 3 rounds against Leonard?
Against the
right-handed.
Orthodox, yeah.
Why? Because Leonard said the whole build-up to the fight, he can't beat me right-handed. He can't fight me right-handed.
Right.
So he came. Spence leading up into that fight every time. I will show you. I can outbox Mikey Garcia because Mikey knew he couldn't win a firefight.
Right.
So he figured he'd win a boxing match. So he made this guy, and it was foolish for Spence because I don't care what you say to me. All I have to do is win. I don't have to win the way you want me to win.
Right.
Boxing is the only sport where we critique how you win. You know what I'm saying? Football, you can grind it out on the ground if the other team's more powerful than you and stall and kill the clock. Basketball, you can play keep away, you can hold the ball. In boxing, if you win in a way that's not desirable to the people to watch, then there's a problem. You know, he got psyched out.
And granted, I haven't seen all of his sport. I've seen his fights. And most of the time, people train a little different than they do, and they fight. But habits are habits. The one thing I noticed in the workout, the public workout he had in Dallas, is that he threw basically power punches.
He throws everything hard.
And I didn't see anything. And if you think that Porter's going to stand there and let you hit, because he threw Broner off like that, and then the other guy, the other one, it'll come to me in a minute. But the other one, the knockout guy.
I've always worried about a power puncher who wants to come out and load up. You tend to tire. But what Spence showed me against Kell Brook is that almost like the Mexican fighters, he's able to stay in that gear.
Yeah.
And if he's able to stay in that gear, it's going to be pretty tough for almost any welterweight to stand up to that for a long period.
And Derek's always said that they train for war. When they say
he
war.
boxes the Charles brother, who's bigger than him. And I spoke with Ryan Shields the other day, and he was telling me that he says, well, I think Earl's going to knock this guy out. And Ronnie is the kind of guy who's honest. What I like about him, he doesn't get. I got Earl in 7.
Yeah, and Ronnie said he didn't give me a round, but I think he'll knock him out. He said, but look, I've been around this stuff long enough to know that guys like Porter, they're upset-minded. Because remember, Porter's not supposed to be here. He should have lost to Broner. He should have lost to Garcia.
He got dropped by Broner. But that's what worries me.
Yes,
Broner's a lot smaller, not as strong as Spence.
And this was later round, though. You got to remember, this was later round.
And with one shot.
Yeah, with one shot. Yeah. I'm hoping, is it a thing that people, first we want a great fight. That's the first part, right? And I think it will be. It probably has the potential. And you're saying a 7-round knockout. This could be one of those fights that even like Ruiz and Joshua, right?
Yeah.
It could be an 8-rounder, but it could be the kind of fight. So we want to see that again.
Absolutely. No. I will never say it's going to be an easy fight.
Right.
I say he'll get him in the 7th round, but I think it's going to be an attrition thing because I think he'll be able to touch him over time, and he's so powerful. Eventually, he'll break him down. But I don't see him coming and blowing Porter away. No, nobody has an easy fight against Porter.
This is what I hope that Porter hasn't spent. Because Porter, they talk a lot of trash. So I'm hoping this is one of those things where you just haven't spent more of your time concentrating on talking trash, out monologuing the other guy,
trying to become a superstar.
Yeah, trying to become the saying smart. Yeah, okay, you sound smart and stuff like this. But now, I got the last smart Alec word in. The weigh-in on Friday should be really something. I don't think
Porter will do that though. Not to cut you off.
Yeah,
I think he feels disrespected.
Well, he should.
In all the build-up of the fight, he's played second tier.
He's been the B-side.
Spence has told him to his face he's going to knock him out. I mean, if you look at the face-off, everybody is disrespected and wrote this man off, which, although I don't have him picked to win, I know a guy like that can fight, has a level of determination coming in, and a little bit of an attitude. I know you talked about, when you had Ivan Robinson on the show, you talked about being disrespected by Arturo Gatti and how that drove him. And, I mean, you could see the difference, because anybody I got to watch Ivan Robinson since he was an amateur. And like I told him that day, I'd never seen him come out and fight a guy like he was mad at him. And if you see from the opening bell, he was on him, like white on rice.
Right.
And so sometimes, when you got to watch yourself in the build-up to the fight, because Porter feels disrespected, and he's sure of himself. He has a point to prove, and that may fuel him to come out and fight with everything he has.
Now, with when you start thinking, you said, okay, corners, right? Derrick James, John Porter. Spence Jr. Dad, corner, right?
Yeah.
Porter's over here. Now, mine, I don't know for sure, but someone told me they brought in somebody else to work with him.
Yes, they brought in Barry. I can't think of Barry's last name. He's Lamont Peterson's trainer.
Okay.
Barry Hunter.
Barry Hunter.
Very good trainer from Washington, D.C.
That lets you know.
And It's not. See, I watched an interview with Barry Hunt talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "I'm not new to Sean Porter. I've worked some as professional fights early on, and I trained him at the Olympic Training Center as an amateur. So we have a history.
Okay.
So basically, it's not a new guy coming.
Got to get to know.
He's going back to his roots.
Okay.
So I mean that does add a high boxing IQ to his corner.
And that's what I'm seeing now. That's what I'm. When you got a guy who's
He's in camp with him the whole time.
Yeah, the whole time. That's
He's
what I mean
like
when I heard that. I think Eddie Mustafa. I'm not sure, but one of the fighters, I don't know if it was Eddie Mustafa or Roy Jones. Somebody told me that. But the thing about it is now, that's how serious they're taking this thing. This is not a thing where they're saying that, I think I can beat him just on my ability. That means I put together. I remember, and I say this. I remember when my brother called Joe Frazier the first time, right? And he brought in Archie Moore, Sandy Sadler, of course Dick Sadler, and Kid Rapides, right? Mm-hmm. Guys that a lightweight, featherweight, light heavyweight, welterweights, and everybody.
They'll give you every
aspect of it and what you got to do. Because Joe Frazier was that guy that you had to be prepared for. Mm-hmm. And he was, right? And they put every scenario together. Now, with this fight here, that's exactly what they're going to have to do, because we know that Errol Spence is the stronger of the fighters. We're assuming that Errol Spence is the stronger of the fighters.
He seems to be a little better school.
Yeah, a little better school. But now, all of a sudden, it's like a thing, does a horse, let's say you don't change horse in the middle of the stream, but they're not.
Yeah.
As you're saying, the guy
they're refining.
They're refining, exactly. Not putting it over there. I'm not putting new wheels on this bicycle. We're going to put spokes on it to make it look a little bit prettier. Mm-hmm. Porter, everybody, and this is some of the emails I had gotten from people. They're saying that, he's giving a gift against, I think it was Garcia. He's giving a gift against another guy out there in California. But this is the thing about it. Yes. He fought in California a couple of times. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking that maybe he didn't take those guys. Listen, when you've been to consider going against guys like Broner and a couple of other guys that you've been against, you may look at.
I don't know if he took Danny Garcia lightly, but I don't think anybody has to apologize for Danny Garcia giving him a rough fight.
No, not at all.
He's not an orthodox guy. I mean, how many guys do you know turn their head and throw a left hook on you on purpose?
On purpose.
Yeah.
I mean, Danny it's a shame Danny's not on this card, really. Because, if you're going to have a display going, it would have been a great display. They have him. And then they used to do that years ago. They had fights actually where Pernell Whitaker may have been fighting on the fight, but then there was the next guy that was going to have fights. Pernell Whitaker was on the undercard.
Don King mastered that.
Mike
Tyson's undercards were full of his future opponents.
Right, future opponents, and that's the whole idea. We don't tend to do that anymore because the promoters are looking at the last bottom line dollar. Mm-hmm. And I know the one thing about DK, as much as he loved the money, and having worked with him, for him and with him, I knew that he was always working on his next show.
Absolutely.
That night,
he had that longevity.
He told me one night before we were sitting in Vegas. He says, "Hey man, I'm not thinking about tomorrow night. He said, I'm thinking about the fight in March. This might have been January."
Yeah.
Right? I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "No, because if this goes off